Hello lovelies, so I am just kind of doing a run of opening videos for projects I've already done. But, okay. So, this project is me using the leftover material from the brown dress. Now, when I made the brown dress, I was using a duvet cover that I had picked up for like $15, and it was a queen size, and it turned out nice. But I had probably a yard and a half left, and I wanted to use it up. But I knew it wouldn't be enough to do a traditional blouse, so I decided to try this pattern out, which is a McCall's 8181. This is a relatively new pattern, and I love the sleeves. I'm not sure about the top because I think it dips too low for me. I really like to have my tops fully covering my bust. I'm a little bit vintage. Vintage inspired fashion. But I did a straight run of the C view of this pattern, and it called for a yard and a half of material, and then I lined it with some leftover Christmas material I had from a different project. I replaced the ties on the sleeves with elastic, just plain old white elastic, because I could not be bothered to try and turn quarter-inch tubes into themselves. It was not happening. If I thought about it, I just would have pressed a quarter of an inch in and just sew. I was not happy with myself for forgetting to do that. But yes, that's the only change I made. This is kind of a working mock-up shirt. I do love the sleeves. I will probably take those sleeve patterns and put them on my bodice block, my preferred bodice shape, simply because I like how the sleeves fit. They remind me very much of a Victorian sleeve, but I don't like how far down the blouse goes. It might be good for you, it is not good for me, so I will be changing that. Overall, this is a very easy pattern to work with if you know about finishing seams, because this has, well, even if you don't know about finishing seams, because this is a fully lined bodice, like, fully lined. I will probably take this bodice block, because if you see, view A is a cropped version, which would hit right at my waistline, which would make this pattern very easy to just attach a skirt to, like a gathered full skirt to, and that would make a very cute, like 70s inspired dress. And the A version is just like a 3/4 gathered sleeve, so I may try that at one point or another soon-ish, because I think it would be kind of cute. It is a fully gathered bodice, so you could just stick all those, all that seam allowance from the skirt up into it, and then you just have to finish, well, you could even line the skirt and just have a fully lined dress. I did all this in black, brown and gold, so I hope you enjoy. I will see you all next time. Bye. Okay, so here I am working on the pockets. I did mess these pockets up. So I have already made the decision that next time I will not do pockets, but also next time I will be working with faux fur for the interior, so hey, that's what it is. But there I was lining up the pocket seam where the pockets will be. Now I will just be doing the shoulder seams. After I do the shoulder seams, I will be messing with the first part of the sleeves, which is doing the sleeve down and leaving the opening open for where the cuff will go, which this is a 2-part sleeve. It is just kind of a weird sleeve. I like how it looks. I like how it goes together. But it is a weird sleeve. Now, this is a birthday present from my mother, and she likes this style of like shirt jacket, so I wanted to make it rather nice for her. So I am using some of that, some brown cotton striped material. It was a duvet cover at one point, but it is just brown cotton satin striping for me. So this is designed to be a late spring, a chilly summer afternoon, early fall jacket. And I think it will work lovely for that because this exterior material is a wool blend, but the interior is a cotton, so it will wick it up. The jacket itself will probably have to be dry cleaned, but hey, it is what it is. The other shirt I'm going to be doing is exterior of a wool blend, while the interior is a faux fur. And you will see that probably next week, if not the week after, just depending on when I get around to editing that material and finishing up all that. So here I am matching the center as well as matching the notches as well as matching the edges and just kind of working all that material in. Like I said, this goes together kind of funky. This may be just like the way it's done for a lot of men's overshirts or dress shirts, but it is just kind of funky for me. Part of the reason I am lining this is because I didn't want to have to worry about figuring out how to finish all this seam allowance when I'm trying to figure out the pattern at the same time. It's just not one of my strong suits, so I have the philosophy of when in doubt, line. When in doubt about a pattern, line it. Then you won't have to worry about finishing the seams and you can just worry about the pattern itself. So here I am trying to finagle the sleeve in. As you can tell, I did not try to pattern match at all in the sleeve, and it is what it is. It just is kind of a hot mess, but it is a nice jacket and I think it turned out well. Once you've got these sleeves in, then you will press all that seam allowance towards the sleeve itself. And then you will sew up the underarm of the sleeve as well as the side of the jacket, making sure to reinforce the underarm part. Basically, after you sew the sleeve to the jacket, you will treat it as a dolman sleeve. At least that's what I've figured out from doing it twice. I will say, doing the first time, it took me probably 5 days to do this first one because I was like triple checking everything, going slow, trying to make sure it worked out well. The second run through, where I was a little more comfortable with the pattern and a little more familiar with how it all went together, took me 2 days. The first day was getting the bodice, the body and the sleeves attached and sewn together for both the lining as well as the exterior fabric or the fashion fabric. And the second day was collar and cuffs, basically. It was finishing up the sleeves, doing the hand sewing for the collar and the cuffs, as well as assembling all those pieces. Once I had all that done, it was basically a 2-day project, including the ever pleasant working through 4 layers of fabric to do buttonholes, which did not work on the second collar. It barely worked on the first. That's because it was thinner fabric. But hey, it is what it is, and it turned out nice. I'm hoping that both of these go over well. At this point, I have not given them to her. That is this weekend. So, yes. I do like how this turned out. I did enjoy working with this material. It was very nice. I am not the best at top stitching. I do like that as a general detail though, so I did try to do it. This is a nice light jacket though. And the fabric I used to line it is, you will see later this year, probably around September. But it does, it is nice and crisp. It is cotton. It just looks nice and wears well. So yes. Then once I've got these side seams sewn up, then I will be attaching both pieces together, both the lining as well as the shirt fabric itself. I will say that if you're doing this pattern then keep in mind, if you are lining it, that you well, when you get to this step, you don't want to attach the cuffs yet. You want to sew the lining in first, because then you can... Sorry, that's my cat. She wants attention. Meow. So once you've got those, both the lining as well as the exterior material assembled to this point, you will want to go along the hemline and sew it like you would be bag lining it, and just sew the hemline. You can go through it and top stitch 1/4 of an inch away afterwards, but by sewing that hem first and then stuffing the sleeves into the sleeves, you can then baste around the collar cuff area and hold it all together, as well as down the front, because there is that front placket to braid that. But that will enable you to basically finish off that bottom piece as well as all the seams that you just did without too much fuss. This pattern, I did make the alteration to the back, which you will see at the end. It does give the back a lot of movement. However, I did exclude that from the second shirt, simply because it is a faux fur on the inside and I wanted it a little closer to the skin. This is the cuff of one sleeve. I've already put interfacing on one edge. So yes, I am now going through and finishing those sleeves up, which is, I turned the seam allowance down on one side of the cuff. I will then sew the cuff seam allowance to the shirt. I will then stuff all that seamage up into the cuff of the sleeve. Yes, you are a very pretty kitty. Are you putting your 10 cents in? Or is it a quarter now? But I will shove all that seam allowance into the cuff from the sleeve, and that will finish off the sleeves. Lining these shirts have also made me appreciate lining a little bit more, because I've had to do a lot of hand finishing lately, and these shirts were kind of nice to do because they were just what they were. Once that is done, I will hand finish around the cuffs by simply slip stitching it in. When I do these plackets, I will sew the bottom piece down a 1/4 of an inch. Oh, 5/8 of an inch. At the bottom piece, I will just like sandwich that so it kind of just flips up into the material when folded correctly, and then I will hand stitch the edge of this to the interior with the, seam allowance already pressed down part ready. This will allow me to get a nice clean edge as well as finish it off nicely. Am I talking too quickly? It seems like I am. Anyway, here's the collar. It is rather kind of weirdly shaped, but it looks nice on the actual jacket, so I am all for it. Weirdly shaped things that look nice? Yay! Anyway, I am pinning the pieces together. I will then sew 5/8 of an inch away from the edge, and then I will clip the corners, especially those pointy corners, and then I will turn it, press it, steam it, press it again, then put a little bit of weight on it and let it all settle in, and then I will top stitch around the edge, 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. This will A, give a nice finishing detail, but also B, hold all that seam allowance down. I will then also baste this bottom, which will allow me to be able to, when I go to baste this part together, it'll lay nicely and not buckle too much while I'm working with the fabric. Once I have the collar sandwiched between the stand parts, which is right now I'm doing it to one piece, and then once I have this basted onto here, I will then sew the second piece and sandwich it, and then making sure to clip that edge in. I will then flip out the collar and steam it, press it, make sure all the seam allowance is in the right direction, and then I will turn and attach it to the actual shirt. I will then top stitch, after hand sewing the collar into place, I will then top stitch it to the top stitch around it, 1/4 of an inch, just to finish it off to make it look nice. I also did do top stitching around the cuff of the sleeve, and then it'll be time for my least favorite part, the finishes, which is buttonholes and buttons. Once that is done, then the shirt is done. I do have to hand sew the buttons on. It is my least favorite part, but it is what it is. It is a shirt. It is a jacket shirt, I should say. It is a little bit bulky to wear as just a shirt, but it would look nice on a male, basically. It is just, very warm. I did try it on to make sure that the lining material wasn't too, itchy or too silky, because one of the issues I have with a lot of the polyester linings is it just makes it too silky and makes it too slippery and makes it difficult in that way. Here I am. You mind, cat? Here I am pressing, well, finagling that collar onto the piece, and I am trying to get it so that all the pieces line up, because this edge is supposed to line up with the edge, because there is supposed to be a button on this top edge. Once that's done, I will hand stitch it, and I will finish it off nicely, because this is supposed to be a gift. Here you can see that part, what I was talking about with the lining. It is just a brown cotton stripe, basically. And that's just done by alternating the way they wove the fabric. So here you are about to see a sneak peek of the shirt. It is not being worn by me, it is being worn by my mannequin, because I did not want to put on someone else's gift. And now I need to lid roll myself because my black cat has been all over my brown dress. Lovely. So here is the shirt. The buttons do work. They are all the way down the front. They are a little bit stiff, but the more it's worked, the better it'll be. Here is the back plate. I have it attached to both the top and the bottom. It is a 3-inch deep pleat, so 1/4 inch and a half on each side. It has faux buttons on the front. It has 2 pockets on each side. It is fully lined. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.